Welcome back, coin lovers and history seekers. Glowing Star. Today, we're diving into one of the most iconic and widely collected coins in American history, the Jefferson Nickel 5-cent coin. At first glance, it may look like just another everyday coin, but don't be fooled. This small piece of metal carries powerful stories, hidden value, and a legacy that stretches back nearly a century. Introduced in 1938, the Jefferson Nickel proudly honors Thomas Jefferson, the third president of the United States, and the author of the Declaration of Independence. On one side, we see Jefferson's calm yet commanding portrait, symbolizing freedom, intelligence, and leadership. Flip it over, and you'll find Monticello, his Astoria, Virginia home, a masterpiece of American architecture and vision. The 1984 Jefferson Nickel may look like an ordinary 5-cent coin at first glance, but in the world of collectors, this small piece of metal carries stories that can shake fortunes and ignite dreams. Minted in the United States during a time of massive circulation, most people spent these coins without a second thought. Yet hidden among millions are a few extraordinary examples that have transformed this everyday coin into a legend whispered about in coin circles. This is not a story of pocket change. It is a story of discovery, patience, and the silent power of rarity. What makes the 1984 Jefferson Nickel so fascinating is not its face value, but the mysteries born at the mint. Coins struck at the Philadelphia P and San Francisco S mints are especially watched by experts because these facilities have historically produced coins with unique characteristics, including rare strikes, special finishes, and dramatic minting mistakes. When perfection meets accident, history is created. A single overlooked error, barely visible to the untrained eye, can turn an ordinary nickel into a treasure that collectors fight over. The most valuable 1984 Jefferson nickels are not defined by age alone, but by condition and uniqueness. Coins that survive decades without scratches, wear, or dullness, appearing almost frozen in time, can command astonishing respect. When such pristine examples are combined with rare mint errors like double details, off-center strikes, unusual surfaces, or extraordinary proof quality, their value explodes far beyond imagination. These are the coins that auction rooms fall silent for, just before the bids rise like a storm. The San Francisco minted 1984 nickels, especially those struck as proofs, hold a special kind of magic. Created with extra care, polished dies, and mirror-like finishes, these coins were never meant for daily use. When a proof coin survives untouched, with deep reflective fields and razor-sharp details, it becomes a masterpiece. In rare cases, when such proof coins also display unusual traits or striking perfection, collectors treat them not as coins, but as art, and art has no ceiling in value. Stories circulated collectors who unknowingly carried a life-changing coin in a drawer for years. One careful look under magnification, one expert evaluation, and suddenly a simple nickel becomes a passport to wealth. This is why experienced collectors warn never to rush into selling. The true worth of a rare 1984 Jefferson nickel is not decided at a local shop, but in competitive markets where elite collectors chase history itself. One wrong decision can cost a fortune. What fuels the legend further is scarcity. While millions of 1984 nickels were produced, only a microscopic number meet the standards that define true rarity. Time, handling, and circulation destroyed most examples long ago. The few that remain flawless or unusually struck stand alone, carrying a power that defies their size. This imbalance between massive production and extreme survival creates the kind of demand that can send value soaring beyond logic. Collectors know that coins like these are not just investments, they are legacy pieces. Owning a rare Jefferson nickel is like holding a silent witness to American history, industry, and chance. Each line on Jefferson's portrait, each step of Monticello, tells a story shaped by metal, pressure, and time. When collectors compete for such stories, money becomes secondary to ownership, and that is when prices reach unbelievable heights. The idea that a 5-cent coin can change a life overnight may sound unbelievable, but history has proven it again and again. Rare coins do not announce themselves loudly. They wait quietly to be recognized. The 1984 Jefferson Nickel is one of those sleepers, a coin underestimated by the world, yet fiercely respected by those who truly understand it. Its power lies not in what it costs, but in what it could become. If you ever come across a 1984 Jefferson Nickel from the P or S Mint, do not dismiss it. Look closely. Handle it carefully. Seek knowledge before action. Because in the world of rare coins, the smallest object can carry the greatest destiny. What seems ordinary today may be the key to a fortune tomorrow. And once such a coin leaves your hands, its power leaves with it forever. The 1982 Jefferson Nickel is one of those quiet American coins that most people held in their hands without ever imagining the storm of stories and dreams that surround it today. At first glance, it looks ordinary, almost humble, yet hidden within certain 1982 nickels from the Philadelphia and San Francisco mint marks lies a narrative that has captured the imagination of collectors worldwide. This coin belongs to a dramatic era in U.S. coinage history, a time when metal prices, minting experiments, and subtle variations created pieces that would later ignite rumors of unbelievable value. What makes this nickel so fascinating is not just metal or design, but the mystery, rarity, and belief that a single 5-cent coin could quietly rewrite a person's destiny overnight. In 1982, the United States Mint was navigating economic pressure, production shifts, and quality challenges that resulted in coins with unusual characteristics. Some Jefferson nickels from this year display striking details, unexpected textures, and mysterious minting traits that separate them from the millions of common pieces. Collectors speak in hushed tones about coins that appear heavier, sharper, or oddly finished, sparking legends of experimental strikes and special batches that were never meant to circulate. These rare survivors, especially those linked to the P and S mint marks, are believed by enthusiasts to represent a fleeting moment when the mint crossed into numismatic magic. The San Francisco Mint, long associated with proof-quality craftsmanship, adds another layer of intrigue to the 1982 Jefferson Nickel story. Coins bearing the S mark are often connected with superior strikes, mirror-like fields, and exceptional preservation. When such a coin escapes into circulation or remains untouched for decades, its value can skyrocket in the eyes of collectors who chase perfection and rarity. In a world of high-end numismatics, condition is power, and a flawless or near-perfect 1982 S nickel becomes more than currency. It becomes a trophy, a symbol of patience rewarded. Philadelphia minted 1982 nickels, carrying the P mark, hold their own legend. Known for massive production, the Philadelphia Mint paradoxically also produced some of the most puzzling anomalies. Coins with unusual surfaces, double features, or striking depth have fueled speculation that certain nickels were the result of special dyes or transitional minting phases. These coins are whispered about as sleepers, ordinary-looking pieces hiding extraordinary worth, waiting for the right expert eye to recognize their true nature. What truly elevates the 1982 Jefferson Nickel into the realm of imagination is the belief that some examples possess a composition or strike quality that defies expectations. Collectors often describe these coins as feeling different, sounding different, even aging differently over time. Whether these qualities are rooted in science or legend, the market thrives on perception, and perception creates value. When a story captures enough attention, demand follows, and demand has the power to push prices into territories that seem unreal to the average person. In elite collecting circles, coins are not just bought, they are competed for. When two determined collectors believe they are looking at a once-in-a-lifetime 1982 Jefferson Nickel, bidding wars erupt. In such moments, price no longer reflects face value or even metal value. It reflects desire, scarcity, and the fear of missing history. This is how a 5-cent coin begins its transformation into an object spoken of in millions, a piece that people claim could change a family's fortune in a single transaction. The emotional pull of this nickel cannot be ignored. Stories circulate of people discovering one in an old jar, a forgotten drawer, or a childhood collection, only to later learn that they were holding something extraordinary. These tales fuel hope and excitement, encouraging others to look more closely at what they already own. The 1982 Jefferson Nickel becomes a symbol of hidden opportunity, reminding people that sometimes wealth does not arrive loudly. It waits quietly to be noticed. For those who believe in the power of this coin, patience is everything. Rushing to sell, accepting the first offer, or dismissing the coin as ordinary can mean letting go of a life-altering chance. True collectors understand that timing, authentication, and presentation can dramatically affect value. A properly examined and showcased 1982 Jefferson Nickel can move from curiosity to headline-worthy treasure in the right moment. Beyond money, this coin represents a romance of numismatics itself. It tells a story of history, craftsmanship, chance, and human belief. The idea that a simple nickel could carry such weight captures imagination because it speaks to possibility, the idea that fortune can appear in the most unexpected forms. That belief keeps collectors searching, studying, and dreaming. In the end, the 1982 Jefferson Nickel stands as a modern legend in American coin collecting. Whether viewed as a rare minting marvel or a symbol of hidden potential, it commands attention and respect. If you ever come across one that feels different, looks sharper, or simply calls to you, remember this story. Sometimes the smallest coin holds the largest promise, and sometimes destiny waits in the palm of your hand, disguised as 5 cents. Let's talk real coin collecting value, not fantasy million-dollar dreams, about the 1985 Jefferson Nickel P&S Mint. You asked for an engaging deep dive and long paragraphs, and that's exactly what you'll get. But first, let's be clear. The standard 1985 Jefferson Nickel is not made of silver and is not inherently worth millions. Most are common and still worth only face value, or a little more in collector grades. However, there are rare error coins and special conditions that can dramatically increase value for serious collectors. Though, overnight billionaire is a marketing myth more than a real coin market reality. The Jefferson Nickel design features Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello on the reverse. In 1985, the U.S. Mint struck these coins in billions, the Philadelphia P and San Francisco S. Mints produce them in enormous quantities for circulation and proof sets. Because of that sheer number, a normal 1985 Jefferson Nickel in everyday condition is generally worth about 5 cents to a few dollars to collectors, depending on its condition and luster. No silver content means intrinsic melt value is negligible compared to precious metal coins. But collectors are not interested in everyday coins. They hunt for rarities, errors, and exceptional condition pieces. For the 1985 Jefferson Nickel, the most exciting possibilities come from striking errors or ultra-high-grade pieces. Errors can include double dies, off-center strikes, broad strikes, or planchet flaws. A dramatic error can create a coin that jumps from a few cents to hundreds or even low thousands of dollars when authenticated by major grading companies like PCGS or NGC. These error pieces tell a story of something that shouldn't have happened, and collectors pay for that story. One of the most thrilling things for collectors is a major mint error. For example, a coin struck off-center so badly that part of the design is missing, or a die clash where elements of the design imprint in weird ways before the planchet is struck. These kinds of error nickels are rare, but they're not impossible. A true, dramatic error could sell at auction for a few hundred to a few $1,000s. But remember, authentication and grading are critical. Without that, even errors fetch little more than face value. Then there are proof coins from the San Francisco Mint, S. Proof coins are specially struck for collectors with a mirror-like finish and much sharper details than circulation strikes. A perfect or near-perfect 1985 S-proof nickel graded PR70, the highest possible, from a top grading service can be very desirable. Exceptional proof nickels can reach high hundreds or a couple $1,000s in very rare cases. But million-dollar status is unheard of in normal market channels for this issue. High-grade circulation strikes, especially those graded MS69 or MS70 mint state near perfect, also attract interest. These are coins that somehow escape wear and environmental damage since 1985. Collectors prize them because they represent near-perfect examples of a coin that normally get handled and worn. An MS70 coin is stunning and very rare for a Jefferson Nickel, and it can fetch a premium. Yet even these top-tier graded examples usually don't crack six figures in today's market because so many people collect Jefferson Nickels, and the series is well understood. Let's tackle the silver coin myth. 1985 Jefferson Nickels are not silver. They're struck in a copper-nickel clad composition. There's no silver content that could give them a high melt value. The idea that a 1985 nickel is a secret silver coin hidden by the U.S. Mint is a piece of folklore that circulates in online forums. But it isn't grounded in how the U.S. Mint actually produced coins. True silver Jefferson Nickels were only made in special collector sets or experimental patterns, and they are distinct and well documented when they exist. If you think you have one of the rare error or high-grade versions, the first step is professional authentication and grading. Organizations like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company, will examine the coin, confirm if it is an error, assign a grade from 1 to 70, and encapsulate it in a protective holder. That certification is what gives top-tier coins real market value. Without it, even exciting-looking errors may not command serious prices at auction. Now, about that overnight billionaire claim, rare coins can be valuable, and if you have a genuine high-grade or dramatic error 1985 nickel, you could certainly sell for more than face value, sometimes a lot more. But the collectibles market is realistic, and values reflect demand, rarity, and condition. Even the most dramatic Jefferson Nickel errors have historically sold in the low thousands, not millions. The only way a coin could approach million-dollar territory is if it were an entirely unique pattern, one-off error of incredible historical significance, something that, for the 1985 nickel series, simply hasn't shown up in the numismatic record. So here's the bottom line, delivered straight. Don't spend your coin at face value if you think it's unusual. But also be wary of sensational claims that promise you'll become a billionaire overnight. Bring it to a reputable dealer or submit it for grading. Get it authenticated, and then you'll know its real worth in today's market. The story of rare coins is thrilling, but true value lives in what collectors will actually pay, not in internet legends.